Are you in for some fish-related figures? Well, if you are, join me and let's see if these are any good. Let's check them out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna take a look at Stararc Toys Sand Zero series, the deep ones. Before we get started, I want to say a big thank you to the guys from Bombusbee store for sending these figures for a review. In case you are interested in getting these, I will leave links in the video description. Now, I will be honest, I'm not familiar with these characters or where they are from, to what IP they are related. But they sure do look like some sea monsters that you can include in a lot of different franchises. So in that sense, I'm very interested in checking these guys out. We're gonna start with the packaging, and both of these come in the same looking box that shares everything except the images of the figures in the back, which we will take a look in a second. But here in front we have huge plastic windows showing the figures and some of the accessories, and the windows are framed with these ancient Greek pillars, and these are from Ionic order of Greek architecture. For my fellow artists out there, it says the deep ones on this stone block called Architrave. Okay, I'll stop. Here at the bottom we have Sand Zero logos. Here is the side of the boxes. Here is the back, and everything on both of these is the same except the two images showing the figures and everything that comes with them. We have some basic information about these figures, including a short character description. They live at the bottom of the deep sea, monsters with fish heads and human bodies, possessing almost immortal eternal life. They mainly worship the father god Dagon and the mother god Hydra. Here is the other side of the box, which is the same as the first one. On the top we have a Stararc sail logo and more information about the product on the bottom. But now, let's open these up and let's take a look at the figures. Here are both of these guys out of the box, and the sculpt of their bodies is exactly the same. The only difference is in the head sculpt and in a paint variation. But the overall sculpt does look good. Plastic feels good, joints are nice and sturdy, and as I always say, make sure to heat up the figures before messing around with their joints for the first time. I use a hairdryer, I heat them up for a couple of seconds, and they are good to go. But if you prefer a different method, that's also fine. Now, because these are on the same body, they both are around 10.5 centimeters tall to the top of their heads, but they do have these spikes on their backs, and if we measure those, they are around 13.5 centimeters tall. Colors are stronger, darker on this guy on the right, while on this guy they are kind of washed out, so that also gives them a slightly different look. As I already said, I'm not familiar with this lore, but from what is written on the box, these guys are like children of a god Dagon, and if I'm not mistaken, he's originally from Mesopotamian mythology, but is also adapted in few other franchises in books and games. Coming back around after doing a little bit of research, I found out that these are actually from a novel, The Shadow over Innsmouth, written by American horror writer Howard Phillips Lovecraft in 1931. They are part of his so-called Cthulhu mythos, but I think that these guys can fit into some other stuff as well. They can go great with Savage Crucible line, they can fit in Masters of the Universe as Merman's minions, as some kind of mutants from live-action TMNT, or even as some kind of alien creatures from Star Wars, Marvel or DC franchises. Taking a closer look at the details, here is how the head looks on this guy first. He has these scary white eyes and the upper part of his mouth with sharp teeth, but lower jaw is kind of confusing. There are these two tusks on the side, but then we have this middle piece that is strangely shaped and curved down with more teeth at the end. Now, I'm not an expert in fish anatomy, so I don't know how practical this is and how his mouth works, but this is what we get. Then there are these fins on the neck, and they are nicely shaded. It's a nice transition from darker to lighter red. Here are the spikes on his back, these bumps coming out on both sides. Spikes continue across his back, and the final one in a different color is on his tail. And here is how the tail looks. And then here is a better look at the neck, chest and belly. There are all of these sculpted wrinkles here. We have more fins on the side of the belly, and then he has a piece of plastic imitating cloth covering his crotch area, because after all he is a shy sea monster. But this is a separately sculpted piece that can be taken off. It's not connected to anything, it just hangs around the waist. On the legs he has his torn trousers, and his legs and feet, although they are muscular, are much smaller in comparison to the rest of his body. He has his long arms with more fins, and then long fingers and painted fingernails. And let's take a quick look at the other guy, and this one has a piranha looking head sculpt. He has green green menacing eyes and sharp teeth, and he even has his small nose holes. And here we can see the two head sculpts side by side again. I prefer his piranha look because, as I said, this one looks too strange to me. And as we saw it before, colors are slightly different, at least the reds are. Everything else is practically the same. Let's now take a look at their articulation, and we're gonna start off with this guy first. His head can slightly tilt side to side and rotate like this. His tusks can hinge down like this, and then this middle piece can also hinge up and down and swivel. And then we're gonna switch over to this guy, and his head also can tilt side to side just slightly and swivel. He can't look down that much, but this is how far he can look up. And then his jaw can be opened like this. Here is how the inside of the mouth is sculpted. These fins on the neck are on a ball joint and they do move slightly. Arms can rotate 360. This is how far they go out. We have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that bend in all the way. Then we have a swivel in the ankles, and hands can hinge in all directions. These fins on the side of the belly are also on a small ball joint, so they do move. We have two cuts in the torso. One is up here and the other one is down here. And so this is where we'll get our side to side movement. Just a little bit of side to side tilt. He can't crunch forward practically at all, but he can bend back just slightly. His tail is on a swivel. Legs go out this far. Here is how much they move forward and back. There is a swivel underneath the pants. Knees bent this much. We have a swivel in the ankles. Feet move forward, back. We have a nice ankle pivot and pec holes at the bottom of their feet. So the articulation is fine. It is good for this type of design. The characters whose bodies are designed in this hunched forward way. Let's now take a look at their accessories. And we're gonna start with Piranha Guy. First, he comes with an alternate head. And this is how that looks. This is really frightening, like it's straight out of a horror movie with the green skin, green eyes, and all of these teeth coming out and the tongue. This looks fantastic. And the way to switch the heads, we pop this one off and pop the other one on. And so now he looks like this. And the box says that this is a lanternfish head. He comes with a pair of relaxed hands that are already on the figure, and then we get a pair of gripping hands. And he also comes with an alternate left arm, and this one is a bit bigger. It has a different design than the one that is already on the figure. As you can see, it is larger, bulkier, and so that gives us a kind of a variation. We can play around a little bit with a different look for this guy. And switching the arms, that is also easy. This one pops off and we simply pop in the alternate one, and this is how that looks. Switching out the hands is also easy. This one pops off. Here is how the wrist joint looks, and we pop on the alternate hand. He also comes with 3 different weapons, his bone knife, and look how beautiful the sculpt is on this one. Then we get his mace with all of these spikes sculpted on and straps, and then his bone rod. And just look how good the sculpt work is here. All of these skulls, the smaller ones, and then the big one, the open mouth, and all of these bone spikes coming out of it. And then when you open it like this, it really looks like a fish, doesn't it? This is a head similar to the one that we have on the figure, with green eyes and the mouth with all of these teeth. So this is a fantastic looking sculpt. And the way for him to grip this bone knife that has a much thinner handle than the other 2 weapons is to tuck the finger inside of this curve that is sculpted on the knife. And then he holds it perfectly. He also holds the mace without any issues, and same goes for his bone rod. And finally he comes with a platform that should represent blood or some kind of toxic ooze or something, but the sculpt here is kind of soft. There are all of these bubbles and bumps and a few spikes as well, and then we have 2 pegs, and here is how that looks. And now for this guy, he comes mostly with the same accessories, and that means the alternate lanternfish head, a pair of grabbing hands, alternate left arm, the same base, his bone knife, mace, and then the only different accessory, it is his hook, and this is how that looks with all these straps here. So yeah, this is the only difference between the 2 sets. Well, this, the colors, and the different head. Let's now compare these guys to some other figures. Here's how they scale with Masters of the Universe Revelation Merman and NECA TMNT movie Raphael. Here is how they scale with NECA Feral Predator and Savage Crucible Veteris Repacks. Here they are next to YOLO Park Transformers AMK Pro Series Optimus and Starscream. And then here we have him next to Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wolverine and Symbiote Spidey, Mafex Classic Suit Spider-Man and Daredevil, SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Sentinel Peter B. Parker, City Toys knockoff of Revoltech Agent Venom, and an AliExpress knockoff of 2.0 Deadpool. Here they are with City Toys Brown Suit Wolverine and The Amazing Spider-Man, and finally with Star Wars The Black Series Vader and Stormtrooper. So there you go, that was my look at Stararc Toys Sand Zero series, the Deep Ones. These guys are something that I didn't used to checking out on the channel, but they are very nice figures. They have a specific look, but you never know. Maybe you are looking for some generic sea monsters for your collection, and if that's the case, these guys will do the job perfectly. Their articulation in the neck and torso is limited, but the rest of it is pretty good. They come with some nice accessories, including alternate heads, so you can give them even more different looks. In my collection, I see them as Merman's minions, but again, they can probably fit in all kinds of franchises, so there you go. Once again, a big thank you to the guys from Bombusbee store for sending these figures for a review. In case you want to get them, links for Bombusbee store are down in the video description. You heard my thoughts and now I would love to hear yours. What do you guys think about these figures? Are you interested in something like this? If you are, in what kind of display would you include them? Let me know all of it down in the comments. As always, a huge thank you to my Patreon and channel members for their support. If you can also join and help, please do so. Links are in the video description. And of course, to all of you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.